Hey folks, Chuck Gleason with Barefoot Central and Eagle Sports. Want to have a talk today about rope. If you haven't noticed, over the last few years, rope has skyrocketed in cost. 20 years ago we could buy a good rope for about $50, and today it's like $159 is the highest priced rope on the market. And if you're coming in new to the sport, we get a lot of questions each year. Chuck, what kind of rope should we ski on? What makes a good rope versus a bad rope, all that stuff. So there's a lot of different ropes out there. You'll hear Spectra, you'll hear Spectra Fusion, you'll hear Spectra Fusion Core. Spectra, if you look at the inside of this rope here, and Michelle, you're going to have to zoom in. This is what's called Spectra. It's an uncoated, Spectra is just a type of line. It's non-stretch. You hear Kevlar, Spectra, Dyneema. It's a type of thread that doesn't want to stretch. Barefooters don't like stretchy rope, especially at the high end. If you're doing multiple turns, you don't want to turn to the back and have that rope sponge on you, because you want to be able to control your movements and not have to worry about the rope feeling like a rubber band. So barefooters prefer something that doesn't stretch, so the less stretch the better. Spectra has always been something that's performed well that way. Then they come out with the outer coating of this rope here is Spectra, but each individual strand, if you can zoom in, is coated with like a plastic coating, and that's your Spectra, what they call it, Spectra Fusion. They fused plastic onto each thread, and that basically gives it a protected coating from sun and all that stuff, and helping it be more durable. Now, if you take Spectra Fusion and put Spectra inside it, it's called Spectra Fusion Core. Now, some core ropes, manufacturers, they do different things to save on costs, like not braiding this inside core. So when you braid a rope, it makes it a lot stronger. You could take those strands of Spectra and come straight. It would still be a core, but it wouldn't be as strong as a braided core. Other things is the number of individual threads inside here that they braid together. They could choose 16, 12, 8, whatever. The more they use, the stronger the rope. So you're always in a balancing act, how to save money, how thick you make your core versus what type of outer casing you put, and how tight you thread it. The tighter you thread it may increase the strength, but it may make it not want to roll up easy or completely stretch out very easy. So the rope manufacturers are always testing different types of thread patterns or braiding patterns versus what their cores are. The reason I'm showing you this is, we've obviously skied on every rope out there, and with the cost going up, last year we came out with a Eagle Dyneema rope, and it had the core, but instead of using Spectra core, we used Dyneema, which is even stronger than Spectra, and braided it. And last year was our first rope on the market. This year we're making some improvements. We're making a Spectra Fusion outer core, and then we've gone with the braided core. We found a nice number of thread count on the interior to give it a not too big of a diameter, but a nice diameter. It feels good, it rolls well, it's lightweight when you ski on it. And some things we do with this rope is, first off, if you notice, you have a loop. It's plenty big. When you take the loop off, got my rope through my handle here, so let me get that figured out. I can take the rope itself and come over the handle. Some tricks of the trade when you're putting a handle on a rope. I don't I always hate seeing somebody that pulls a handle through that and then through the rope itself. And what that'll do is you'll tighten down on it and it creates a knot like that, and then you got to sit and straighten it out. Ultimately, you want your ropes to come together like this. So they're nice and easy to come apart and they're not going to get too tight. So if you got a rope that's got a big enough loop to get over any handle, you never have to worry about putting the handle loop through itself. So at Eagle, we make sure we do that. You can get this loop over any handle. You can get the rope in different lengths. You can order the freestyle pack, which is a 60, 10, 5, 2.5. So you got all your extensions for your boom, your super fly high, your if you put them all together and go long line, go 70 feet, whatever. Or you can go traditional and go tournament level, order 60 foot and a 4.5 foot extension. You might want to call us up and order a custom length. We can do all that, and just whatever you need. Rope is coming in one color this year. It's basically blue with blue and white stripe, easy to see. And give you a quick lesson on rolling rope. I went to years and years ago. First ski school I ever went to was Ron Scarpa. I go and I ski and I jump out of the water and I start pulling the rope in and rolling it, and he runs up. He's like, "Chuck, you know, two things: don't ever mess with another man's wife, and don't ever mess with another man's rope." Everybody likes rolling their rope differently. You know, you'll see the high-end skiers on the shoreline. They all have a special way of doing their rope. And one of the cool things, you want to, if you roll your rope properly, you get on the back deck. It's always a cool move. Take and whip your rope up, and it comes completely out in the water. That's kind of cool. And in order to make that happen, it's the way you roll the rope that is key. So when you go to roll your rope in, what I do at the end of the day is, if I'm standing on the back of the boat, I throw all the rope out into the water. Now I'm left-handed, so I wouldn't make a good show skier. They wouldn't let me roll the ropes, but in my boat I'm the only one that rolls it. So I bring it in and I just start making small loops. Try to keep them all the same. And once you roll a rope a couple times, it'll learn the way you like it. And if the boat is idling, that line will go straight out behind the boat. So if you've got any twists, like if you've done tons of turns or you've got a lot of twists in it, it'll unwind itself and roll up nice and neat. But as you can see, I'm just keeping all the loops the same, nice and clean. Rolling it up, and a sign of a good rope is that rope just naturally wants to roll back. It's not going to kink on itself very easily. And boom, you're done. Now you're off to ready for your next day of training. Put your rope caddy on there. If I can get it through the Eagle ships a little nice neoprene rope caddy that you can tighten down and then hang. Ropes are expensive, just like barefoot suits are expensive and dry suits, so take care of your equipment. If your rope breaks while you're skiing, bad things happen, so you don't want that to happen. Make sure, always check your ends for frays. If you start seeing them fraying, especially even on your handles, keep a close eye on them, because you don't want to be out there skiing and all of a sudden it snaps and you take a nasty face slam. But if you care for your rope properly, a rope will last you 10, 15 years. Just avoid throwing it in the boat and getting it all knotted up. So look for the Eagle CoreFusionRope on the website here in the next day or so. It's priced at a point, you know, it's not cheap, but it's not the most, I'm not going to make it the most expensive. So I think you'll be very happy with it. Give it a try. Till next time.